Hello, beautiful souls. I am Awakened Soul, and today I'm going to be showing you how I take my trades. But before we begin, I want to show you how I view my charts. Setting the charts in a line chart, you can see that it's a flow. It's an energetic flow that goes up and down. I also want to set the support and resistance just so you can see a visual of what I see when I play this game. So if you just zoom into this area, you see this flow that goes up and down, playing within support and resistance line, like ping pong. It's a game, right? So if you understand that the charts are a flow, it's a vibe, it's going to be easier for you to understand where the charts are going next. With that being said, let's go ahead and begin. And I don't use this indicator, I just used it as a visual so you can see what I see when I trade. The first thing I want to do is go back to my candles here. I usually start my charts, or not usually, I always start my charts in the weekly time frame. I don't care if I'm scalping, day trading, swinging, this is how I set up my trades. So weekly chart, using my pivot highs and lows, and you could definitely use it. I changed the settings to 5. This just gives me a perfect indication of where price action is at my support and my resistance lines. I'm going to turn on the magnet here. I hope you're having a beautiful day. So that is my weekly range. Within the weekly range, I'm going to go ahead and go to my daily. Within my daily, I'm going to also set my support and resistance. So again, you can use your pivot highs to determine where your highs and your lows are. So let's go ahead and mark our resistance here. Let's change the color. And our support. So this is the range that we're just focused on, where price action is. But once you've located your support and resistance, you want to draw some daily trend lines. And I do like to overlap two indicators called higher high, lower low. One is set to 30, one is set to 9, and that just gives me a great visual of where to connect my trend lines. So on the daily, we're still, so this is my high, this is my lower high, and then we have from the high here to where price action is located, there'll be two trend lines, right? And now let's my resistance trend lines, and now let's put my support trend lines. And that'll be my daily trend lines here. So within the daily trend lines, I also like to open up my VRVP, and I do use two. Let me show you. This is my volume profile by DGT that I use, and I also use the regular VRVP. So once I turn on both indicators, I mark my points of control, and that just gives me a great view perspective of where price action could return to. So let's go ahead and mark them. Nope, I already used yellow. I'm picky with my colors. My colors have to be perfect. Let's do purple. Purple is cute. And then we're going to mark my second point of control. Let me take off this indicator. Okay, so we know purple is points of control. Okay, so now we have our range, we have our daily trend lines, we have our points of control. Now let's find daily targets. Okay, so if this were to break to the downside, which one would be my target? So for me to find a target based on a trend line, you can't see it here. Maybe it's okay. So I'm going to choose the highest price in between the first touch and second touch. So check this out. So the highest price, if I had to guess, would be this wick, right? This is the highest price. If you come down, you just connect right where the crossing of the trend line is, and this will be my daily target. I hope that makes sense. And let's say price action breaks to the upside, because as a technical analysis, as a trader, you have to be ready to play both sides. So this is my daily trend line, the white one. So if price was to bounce to the upside and break this daily trend line, my target would be, again, right, one touch, two touch, right in between the lowest price. This is the wick, the lowest price. Just go up here and mark it right in your trend line, and that would be my daily target. And I hope that made sense. Okay, so let's go ahead and scoot this over. Okay, so I have my daily targets, daily range, daily support and resistance lines, trend lines, point of control. So let's move on to my 4 hours. Within my 4 hours, we're gonna repeat what we just did in the daily. But before we do that, I want to show you how the market structure works. The market structure is a cycle that repeats. It's made out of contraction phases and trend phases. Quick example, this whole area is a contraction phase, a consolidation phase, a lot of people call it, right? So after a consolidation, there's going to be a trend to move up. Consolidation, trend to move up, consolidation, trend up, consolidation, trend up, consolidation. And within every consolidation, you'll find a pattern. So it's important to understand that you are in a consolidation phase, because after every move to the upside or to the downside, right? If you look back here, you have trend up, consolidation, then trend up, consolidation, trend down, then we had a small consolidation, trend down, right? Bullish or bearish, there's going to be trends that move up the market up and down, and there's going to be consolidations. So right now we're in a huge consolidation area, so it's important to understand where you are in the chart. So within this consolidation area, we're going to find a pattern. Either you're going to find a bull flag, a diamond, a bear flag, a megaphone. There's, all the patterns, a rising wedge, a falling wedge. So wait, see what's the charts are offering you, and then play the game. So within my 4 hour, again, I will have my higher high and lower low indicator. Both of them, again, one is set at 9, one is set at 30, and you can set them at whatever ranges you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect my highs and lows, and this just gives me a great visual of where to connect my trend lines, right? And then we have this support, this resistance. So right off the bat, just by connecting this, we can see that this looks like a megaphone, right? And if you don't know what a megaphone is, you could go ahead and Google it, right? And sometimes you get really lucky and you see the pattern, and just based on the pattern, you know what's going to happen next. So now that I have my trend lines, I'm going to go ahead and show you how the flow works. So back to the line chart we go. Nope, that's not the line chart. This is the line chart. So this is a flow, remember. So how does the flow work? You have an uptrend, you have a downtrend, you have an uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, down, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. We're in a downtrend. You see that? Let's go ahead and delete them. Actually, we should keep them on. Just so I could show you, I could draw it. Here you go. So let's turn on back our candles. So if you were to connect the 4-hour trend lines nicely, you will see what I'm talking about. And with every 4-hour trend line crossing, you could find your targets. So 1 touch, 2 touches, right? So this one's actually gonna come here. Just base 1, 2 touch. Right? So it's a flow. It goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. And that's the flow. You gotta go with the flow. Alrighty, so now that you understand the flow and how I visualize the chart, let's go ahead and get some targets. So now that I'm here at the 4-hour and I have my 4-hour trend lines, let's go ahead and get some targets. So this is 1 touch, 2 touches, right? So if price action would go up, my target would, remember, 2 touches right in between the lowest price. That would be my target. So I would place my target right where the lowest candle wick is. So this would be my target. Let me change the colors because I like everything to look cute. Another trend line, just focus on price action, would be from this peak. Nope, not a trend line. From this peak to this peak. So let's say we would cross to the upside. What would be my target? Again, you could use your pivot highs and lows to help you determine what's the lowest price. And as we could visualize, our lowest price is right here. So you just come right up. And this would be my 4-hour target. Okay. So now let's that's just based on the trend lines. So right here we have 1 touch, 1 touch this wick, 2 touches, right? And in between, the highest peak is this, so this would be the highest price. So my target would be right here at 22,617. That would be my 4-hour target. Okay. Alrighty. So now that we're here and I know where it's potentially going to, right? We have day targets that could take a week to play out. Remember, we have our day target here. We have bullish and bearish and bullish targets. For our day target, we have 4-hour targets that could take 2-3 days to play out too. But it's important as a trader, as a technical analysis, to be prepared to play both games. So now that I'm here, let's go back to our weekly. Within our weekly, I'm going to set my weekly range. So let's turn on the magnet. And I set my weekly range based on the previous candle. So this is my high. Let's change colors. Color that I have not used. Let's go to baby blue. Let's make it thick. This is my weekly high, my weekly low. Now I go down to the daily. Okay. Within the daily, I'm going to look at the previous candle and set my weekly low, my weekly high. Okay, and I'm going to go to the 4 hours. Within the 4 hours, I'm going to go ahead and look at the previous candle, set my 4-hour high, my 4-hour low. Okay, and let's go down to the 1 hour. So now that I have my support and resistance line within the 1 hour, I'm going to turn on my EMAs. I like to play with the 12 and the 26 EMAs. Remember, everything's a flow, so you have to know where you're at. So we're in a downtrend right now till we cross this 4-hour trend line. So within my 1 hour, I'm gonna turn on my EMAs, look at the flow. I'm gonna turn on my higher low and my lower lows here, right? We're in the downtrend still. I'm gonna turn off my pivot highs and lows. I'm gonna go down to my 30 minutes. So usually I take my trades based on my 30-minute plays. So right here we created a lower low and a higher low. So just to confirm, right? And that's where it landed. This is where it landed. So it was a higher low. This is a high. So just looking at this, you can see the flow of the chart again, right? We go up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so right here in my 30 minutes, I'm going to make my decision. This is my 4-hour support, my 4-hour, my 4-hour resistance, my 4-hour support. So for me to take a trade in the 30, even a scalp, 30 minutes are keys. So I want this low to break. I want it to break to the downside, retest, and continuation to the downside. My stop loss would be at previous lower highs. Hope that made sense. So we break the 4-hour resistance, right? I'm gonna look at 4-hour break, retest, and continuation to the upside, and my entry would be at the higher lows with a stop loss under my previous lows. Okay, so just looking at this and knowing that, and you can also put some trend lines on the 30 minutes. Oops, I'm getting a little bit nervous here. I hope this video is not too long, but you could definitely, you know, play the flow like I mentioned. Nope, I don't like that. So we're coming down here. Let's turn it to green. We're going up. We're coming down. We went up here. Consolidation, right? We went up. We broke down, right? So right here, we were finding some resistance. Our 12 and 26 EMAs have turned. We have a big support here on my 4 hours, right? So if you look at pivot highs and lows, 4 hours are critical. So if it breaks this 4-hour support, we're definitely coming down, right? So I kind of look at everything. Right now it broke back to the upside on my 30 minutes trend lines that I was making, right? So what would be my target? Remember that lowest point after a trend line breaking. So my target would be at the 4-hour high. It just, remember, 1 touch, 2 touch, and between the lowest point, this would be my target. And I re-evaluated because it looks pretty bearish on the bigger time frame, and my bigger time frame that I work with is the 4-hour. So if the trend is down, usually I'll just do shorts. If the trend is up, if price action is above the 12 EMA, I usually, when I scalp or do trades, I do longs. If the price action is under my 12 EMA, I usually just do shorts. So right here, I'm gonna let it come back up, hit 22,986 and reassess. You could definitely go to your smaller time frames, turn on your higher high, lower lows indicators, and play with the higher highs, lower lows. Let me see. Right, it's a little bit more dangerous, especially if the trend is down. So it's important to determine your bigger time frame trend and try. The smartest thing to do is to trade with the trend. If you're a great scalper, you're fast with your fingers, go ahead and, you know, long and short, long and short. But I've definitely noticed that having this indicator has helped me so much. And now that we're going up right here, I could also follow and make this new trend line, set an alarm, right? And if it breaks to the downside, I know it's time to short. And that's for a scalp or whatnot. So I hope that this made sense. This is how usually I do my trades. It all starts from the weekly. It all starts from me understanding that it's a flow and understanding that you just gotta go with the flow. Thank you, and remember to do everything with love.